Good afternoon, grade 11s. Welcome to our business studies class. Today, grade 11s will be looking at marketing activities such as pricing and distribution policy. For those who are just joining us today, welcome to our 16th lesson. My name is Hector S. Ngos. Grade 11s, please don't forget that tomorrow you are writing your formal assessment task. So please don't forget that. And I hope, or I'm sure you are ready for everything that you need. Remember your task, it's based on problem solving and creative thinking. We have covered problem solving and creative thinking here with you in class, and I hope majority of you are familiar with the content and stuff. Please feel free to always ask questions should you have any problems, as I'm here to help you, boys and girls. All right. Okay. Now, grade 12s, before we start, basically here, the other day we looked at the terms and definitions of this chapter, of which is your, what you call, your price and distribution policy, right? We looked at these terms. So we're just gonna skip. We looked at the techniques of pricing. That's what we looked at. All those were your techniques of pricing. We looked at them step by step. However, we're supposed to do what? We're supposed to do the factors that influence the, factors that influence pricing, basically, boys and girls. Now, let's look at the factors that will influence your pricing, right? So what are the things, basically, when we talk about the factor, we're looking at the things that will actually influence your pricing. Your input costs, remember, the higher the input costs, the higher the final price is. An increase in labor or transportation could increase the final price. So basically the input costs are the costs that we attached, or are the costs that are attached to your price based on whatever it is, right? Then you've got your demand for the product. So now if you've got the demand for the product, we know that the higher the demand, the higher the production volume, the lower the input cost, and the lower the final price, right? So if you've got the higher demand, it will affect the value of your price. Let me just look for a different color. The purple is a bit, no, red is too much. Green, yeah, let me stick to green. Blue, no. Yeah, this or green, one of the two. Let's stick to green, right? Let's stick to green, right? Isn't it, boys and girls? I hope everything is making sense so far and you guys are following, right? Now, we have just looked at the demand for the product, right? We said the higher the product, the higher the production volume, the lower the input cost, and the lower the product, right? Another factor that affects your, or that influence your pricing system, it will be your target market, right? With your target market, guys, it has to do with your income level of target markets, right? So if you know that you target in certain people they have to buy your product anytime soon and stuff like that, basically that's your target market. Right. Then now we also be looking at the type of product, right? So what type of product are you selling or offering? Luxury product can be priced higher, right? Also, the type of product influence your pricing system also, right? Because some of the products are unique. Some of the products are very restricted to the market. Not everyone can have them. So for such products, obviously, boys and girls, the price are expected to go up. Right. Then we look at the price technique used to determine the price. Here, they use the promotional pricing could be lower than the demand-orientated pricing. Basically, we spoke about promotional pricing and your demand-orientated pricing. Just a recap, let's just go back to those types of pricing. We once explain these. So these are here's the promotional pricing, and here's your orientation pricing. So let's start with your promotional pricing. We know that business offer sales or specials offers to attract customers. It is used when the price is lowered for a short period of time. That's your promotional pricing. Basically, if we want, let's say we have just opened the store and we want people to be familiar a lot with our store, we're going to use our promotional pricing so that people, they can come to the store, they can see what the store that sells or what do they have and stuff like that. Right. Then we look at your orientation pricing, of which is your competition pricing. This one, it sets price based on what competitors are charging customers, right? This approach is also called a going rate pricing or a competitive pricing, basically. The more competition in the market, the lower prices are likely to be. Right. All right, boys and girls, I just wanted to highlight this. We covered these last week. It's just that for me, I wanted to remind you guys, because here they spoke about promotional pricing could be lower than the demand oriented pricing. That's very true, basically, right? Right. Then let's look at the competitive and substitute products. Now, we know competitive. What is competitive? It's when you're competing with something or with someone, right? Then while you're competing with that person or with someone, basically you need to lower your prices, because now consumers or customers, they have to choose between the two of you guys. So it is very important for you guys to know that which is which. Right. If there are similar products that could be placed, uh, that could replace a product, a higher price may result in a loss of sale to the substitute, right? So if the price and demand of complement goods increases, the other product may increase at the end at the same rate, e.g., prices of computers and keyboards may increase at the same rate. The economic climate and availability of goods and services. So basically here, when there is a shortage of certain products, people are prepared to pay more. Like now, I'm just going to make a funny example, but it is true, right? So the availability of goods and services, we know now South Africa is facing a huge pandemic, of which is coronavirus, right? And now there are certain goods that are no longer existing in the market, or they're on pause. So they are not available, basically. And now, sometimes if such goods that are not available, other people, they can, maybe they still have those goods, other people, they can start selling them and at a higher price. For instance, just going to make an example. Alcohol is being suspended in South Africa for up until whenever the president decides to open alcohol again. I'm telling you, there are people who love to buy wines, whiskeys, and stuff, and just keep them in their houses, right? So now, the very same people, they can sell those bottles at a higher price, because now there's a shortage of that product, or that product is no more in the market, basically. So that's where they said when there's a shortage of certain products, people are prepared to pay more. Right. Now, I want us to look at forms of markets. Now, the following forms of market will affect the price chosen, right? So we've got four forms of markets, right? We've got a perfect competition, we've got a monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly, right? Now, I want to start from monopoly going upwards, right? Now, when we start with monopoly, mono means one, isn't it? So oli means two, right? So monopoly means one person or one individual, basically. That's your monopoly, right? So if we look at the monopoly, it says only one supplier or seller controls prices and products. So there's only one supplier or seller, right, that controls the prices of products, right? Profit margins are usually higher because consumers do not have any alternative. So we know under monopoly, the profit margins are quite higher because this person, monopoly, does not have any competitor, basically, right? So basically, this guy can do whatever he wants to do because he is the only one in the market, and therefore this person will be regarded as a monopoly. And the example of monopoly basically can be ESCOM, right? It can be ESCOM because now we know that actually ESCOM is the only service provider that gives us electricity, basically, right? So there's no other service provider that can give us electricity except from ESCOM. So ESCOM will be regarded as a monopoly. Then grade 11s, now we move to oligopoly, right? Oligopoly, right? Now, here it's only few suppliers or sellers, right, that control the price of the products, right? And the very same products are homogeneous, meaning that the very same products are the same, basically. What you get in the very same few suppliers, you can also get it to another supplier because products are homogeneous, meaning products are the same. Sorry. Right. And here it's only few suppliers or sellers. Does it make sense? And now we're speaking about your network services, right? So here we're speaking about your network services. Example, your MTN, your Vodacom, your Cell C, your Telcom. You can add more. You can put your Telcom. You can put okay, Telcom, it's known as ATA. Yeah, so far these are the ones that I'm familiar with, basically. So basically that's your oligopoly. So as much as there is a competition, but you only have few suppliers, right? Only few suppliers. So you have to choose between these four. Basically, those the suppliers there, it's just four of them, right? So you have to choose between these four and say which one you're going to choose. Does it make sense? Excuse me? Right, boys and girls. Now, then after we moving to a monopolistic competition. Now, your monopolistic competition, okay, I need my highlighter now. Your monopolistic competition now, it's another form of a market. There are many suppliers. So here, many suppliers or sellers. Each supplier has his or her own brand of particular product, right? Example, the car manufacturer or car dealers, right? That's a monopolistic competition. So meaning that obviously as much as these people, they are selling cars, but they've got different brands. So Toyota, it's unique to Nissan, and Nissan is unique to Ford. Ford will be unique to Mazda. Mazda will be unique to BMW. BMW will be unique to Mercedes. Mercedes will be unique to Porsche. So that's where we speak about your monopolistic competition. As much as you can get your cars anywhere, but what they offer, right? Yes, the product is the same, but what they offer is what is the branding. So the branding is difficult. Therefore, those people will be regarded as a monopolistic competition, right? Because the Toyota won't do the same job as Nissan. Also, Ford cars won't do the same jobs as your Toyota cars and Nissan cars. So it's always about your preference, what a consumer likes, basically. Then now we're moving to a perfect competition, right? Now, grade 11, when we move to a perfect competition, there are many buyers and sellers. Here, you've got many buyers and sellers, and products are similar, and there are many substitutes products, right? So here there are many substitutes products, right? Example, shares being traded on JSE, right? We know that public companies, they trade their shares through JSE, right? And those shares, anyone can buy them, right? But there are so many companies that sells shares basically, so you can get them at any time. So boys and girls, it's very important to understand this. These are your forms of market, and remember that your forms of market also affects what? Affects the factors that influence pricing. Right. So now we are done when it comes to pricing. Now I'm just going to recap with you. You must know the pricing policy, the meaning of price, importance of pricing, the pricing techniques. You must know all 7 of them, right? We spoke about what? We spoke about your cost-based pricing, markup pricing, customer pricing, your competition-based or orientation pricing, your promotional pricing, your what you call your penetration pricing. Does it make uh, right? And also now going downward, we also have a psychological pricing, paint pricing, and price skimming pricing, right? Then we looked at the factors that influence pricing. We said input costs, demands for the product, target markets, types of products, pricing techniques used to determine the price, your competitive and substitute products, the economic climate and availability of goods and services, and also forms of market, they do affect your pricing. Right. Now, we're looking at the second component of this chapter, of which is your distribution policy. Now we are done with your pricing policy. Now we're looking at distribution policy. Now, we're not going to finish distribution today. We're just going to finish it tomorrow, but we have to start it now. Probably we'll end let me see, probably we'll end here. Then as from tomorrow, we'll cover from here your differences between direct and indirect channels distributions, or maybe we can just end here, right? But let's see on how we can push, right? So grade 11s. Now, with your distribution policy, welcome to those who are just joining us. I can see Fieza, welcome to our business studies. All right, let's go back. Okay, when it comes to your distribution policy, right, you need to know the meaning of your distribution. What is distribution? The meaning of channels of distributions basically will go through step by step. So before I can go any further, guys, I don't want to spoon feed you because you are in grade 11. I'm preparing you for grade 12. So now I want you guys to just for a minute, I want you guys to give me a sort of like a clear understanding. What do you understand when it comes to distribution? What can you tell me about distribution? How does it affect the businesses and stuff like that? You can raise your hand. I'll unmute you, that you can tell us via the audio, or you can type your answer in the chat box. Then I will read your answer loud to the class. So your minute starts now. I'm just giving you only 1 minute, and it starts now. Good luck. All right, grade 11s, I'm back. Your minute just ended now. So can see no one yet has given me the answer. I'm assuming people are shy or whatsoever, but let's carry on then. So I'm just gonna explain in terms of business studies of what do we mean about distributing. Remember, distributing basically it's when you send something in different places, right? That's when we talk about distribution, right? So now we know that every business needs what? Needs to have distribution policy so that it knows how and where products needs to be distributed, right? For example, sometimes you get a hierarchy. I'm just going to use one business because we all love that thing, like Coca-Cola, right? Let's say we've got Coca-Cola as a factory. Then Coca-Cola must distribute to your wholesalers, maybe different wholesalers. Let's say we've got a Coca-Cola in Gauteng and we've got 96 wholesalers in Gauteng, right? So Coca-Cola must say that, okay, for this wholesaler in Kempton Park, I'm going to distribute so much. In Joburg CBD, I'm going to distribute so much. In Pretoria CBD, I'm going to distribute so much. In Soweto, Kibla Park, you name them, guys. You know, I'm just making an example because I'm based in Gauteng, so that's why I use Gauteng. You know, but even if you at any province or at any country, so distribution is knowing how and where products needs to be distributed, right? So it's a very important policy as a business to have a distribution policy so that all your things can be order or can go according to order, right? Then distribution is about how the business gets products to its customer. Very important, right? How the business gets its products to its customer. That's what distribution is, right? Once products have been developed and priced, they need to be made available to consumers at the right place and at the right time, right? So we must, once the product have been developed or priced, and now let's say there was also an agreement from a customer and the store or the shop that, okay, they're going to deliver the certain product on this day and stuff like that, right? Now, products needs to be distributed from the place where they are manufactured to the marketplace. Very good, right? So, very important point, right? So products needs to be distributed from the place where they were manufactured to the market, right? Now we need to look at the meaning of channel of distributions. Basically, at what channel we're going to do our distributions, isn't it? So your distributions channel is the path which the product is moved from the producer to the consumer, right? That's your distribution channel, right? There on top, we're explaining what your distribution policy and the meaning of distribution in general, right? But now there's a difference between a distribution and a channel of distribution. Very, very, very important, boys and girls. Grade 11s, they love such questions. You'll see it in most of your assessments or your tests. So basically, please, 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 please make sure that you do and you follow what I'm saying. Right. Now, so we said here it's a path, right? Sorry, just need to just looking for my highlighter, right? This is a path. Oopsie. I don't know what's happening with my cursor. It's a bit it is acting lately. I don't know why. Right. So this is a path where the product is moved from the producer to the consumer or customer. Right. It is important that the channel is the most effective and cost efficient for the product and reaches the target market, right? So it's very important that the very channel that we're using, remember that now your channel distribution is the path. Are you are you distributing the products via an aeroplane? Are you distributing the products via a buggy or a truck? Are you distributing your products via a ship, right? You know, your ship, like your shipping costs and stuff like that. So some products, remember that, guys, we buy them from overseas. They come with your ships, right? Through the sea. Excuse me, some products also, they're from overseas. They can only be transported via an aeroplane, of which those are your freight costs, right? So it is very important to understand what channel of distribution is. Other goods, they come with a train. Does it make sense? They are being transported from point A to point B using a train, basically, right? So it is important that the channel is the most effective and cost efficient for the product and reaches the target market, right? So we must try by all means that the channel in which we distribute our product, it is the most effective one and cost efficient, right? Very important, because remember, as a business, we are trying by all means to do what? To minimize costs, isn't it? We have by all means, we have to try by all means to minimize costs. All right, boys and girls, a distribution channel is made up of many businesses that help move the product from the producer to the final user or consumer, right? Very important. So we know that the very same distribution channel is made up of many businesses. We know that we've got like your post office, it's one of our distribution channel. We've got what you call you name them. There's so many distribution channels that helps businesses to move their stock or products, basically, right? Very, very important. Like if you were to sit down, each and every business that sells products, they've got a channel, a distribution channel that they uh, do. Like for example, I know my aunt sells clothes, but he normally stocks in China, and whenever he places an order, her goods come with an aeroplane, basically. So there's someone that he meets at OR Tambo, which is our biggest airport in South Africa. So they meet there, then he gets her stock, then he comes and sell it here. It's cheaper with an aeroplane because also it's like she gives someone to buy those goods for her, basically. Then that person charges her like a minority amount. But if it was her having to go to China now and then, it was going to be more costly because it's super expensive, you see. So even some of the clothes that we're wearing, guys, some of the products that we are using, they're not being manufactured from our country. Some of them are from outside Africa, some of them are within Africa, but not South Africa. So we need to know the channel of distribution on how we're going to get those products, right? So we use different channel of distributions to get those certain products, or the stores or your businesses, they use different channel of distribution to get the stock into South Africa, basically, right? Also, the main aim of distribution function is to ensure that the right product is available at the right time, right? Very important, right product available at the right time, right? Then, boys and girls, there are three kinds of participants in a distribution channel. So, very important. You must know that in a distribution channel, there are three participants, three kinds of participants. Number one, we have a service provider, right? We have intermediaries, and we've got customers. Let me make an example with this one, right? Earlier on, I've made an example with Coca-Cola. We said Coca-Cola will be our service provider. Let me write here. Coca-Cola. Isn't it? That will be our service provider. Because they manufacture cold drinks, your Coca-Cola. Isn't it? Now, do you agree with me that an intermediary or our intermediaries in this case will be what, boys and girls? It will be our wholesalers, such as Pick and Pay, isn't it? What else? You name them. All your supermarkets, ShopRite, Checkers. There are so many, guys. There are so many. I won't finish them, right? Just writing the popular ones, right? Spa, right? What else? Where else can you get Coca-Cola? You can get your Coca-Cola at Woolies, right? You can get your Coca-Cola at, let me see, Checkers, Pick and Pay, Spa, Woolies. You name them, guys. You know them better. You know. Okay, I've named Pick and Pay. I've named ShopRite, Checkers. I've named Spa. I've named Woolies. There's so many. Your Boxers, right? So this will be your intermediaries because they're the ones who buy Coca-Cola or cold drinks from Coca-Cola, then sell it to you, right? Right? So you must understand this hierarchy, grade 11s. It is very, 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 very important, right? Then now your customers will be individuals, isn't it? Individuals, right? Your customers, or you can say consumers. Consumers, isn't it, boys and girls? And this hierarchy, that's how you have to understand it, right? They'll ask you, they can give you a scenario. Remember, in business studies, we deal with scenarios. So they can give you a scenario and then they can like to you, kindly specify the service provider in this case study, who is the intermediate, who are the intermediaries, and who are the customers or individuals or consumers in this scenario. Then from the given scenario, you need to pick up or you need to point that, okay, the service provider is this, the intermediaries are these people, and your customers are these, right? So it's very important to know this hierarchy. It's going to help you so much and also to understand your work. Okay, thank you so much, grade 11s. From tomorrow, we're going to we're going to go deep on intermediaries so that I can explain to you what does it mean and stuff like that. Thank you so much, grade 11s. Thanks for tuning in. From my side, I say have a lovely evening until we meet again tomorrow. Goodbye.